Hello everyone, Regnilla here with another episode of Monster Hunter Reunite. We're going to be doing a new monster today, so I thought, why not pound a few drinks and talk about the Yama Tsukami, an Elder Dragon. And quite the Elder Dragon, because this guy, he is a monster I like and a monster I absolutely hate. And so for this quest, we're going to be taking a look at the Gathering Hall, where you can find a Yama Tsukami quest. Do not confuse it for the event Yama Tsukami, because that one hits a lot harder, and it was brutal. When I was initially recording for this video, I did the event quest thinking it was a high rank version, and I was proved oh so wrong. So this is our Yama Tsukami, and you might be rightfully thinking, well, this doesn't look anything like a dragon. Why is it called an Elder Dragon? And if you are new to the channel, allow me to explain it. An Elder Dragon is just a classification of monster that does not fit any of the current contemporary categories of monsters. So you have flying wyverns, brute wyverns. Monsters like Elder Dragons don't fit into any of those other categories. So that's why they have the Elder Dragon status. So think of Curin. It doesn't look like a dragon, but is considered an Elder Dragon because it doesn't fit anywhere else. So this fight takes place on top of the ancient tower, and so this map is slightly modified to accommodate for this fight. And the this particular hunting quest there's a lot of downtime, so you're gonna see me fast forward through large chunks of it because it just takes so long. And I'm always concerned that that the video might get too long and then I got nothing else to say. So the Yama Tsukami is a monster that, oddly enough, it's really debated on how it floats. There's speculation that it uses hydrogen and helium, which gases that it emits, so it's kind of a valid argument. And it also has sort of a gaseous fire attack that comes out from underneath its body, so kind of lends to the theory that it is really being propelled upwards by some sort of gas that it's expelling from its body, preferably probably from those little rib cages that you might be seeing underneath its body. And don't let its look fool you. I was thinking that this monster would be weak to fire because it's made of moss, but if you think about it, moss is also it's typically associated with water, and so just like regular moss, this monster is actually resistant to fire, and by quite a bit. It has 10 points of resistance in fire, so it's like, oh man, should have done my research on this monster before fighting it. But the other thing you might be noticing is that I'm swinging my sword and I'm having some difficulties actually landing hits in, because this monster looks like he's a lot closer than he actually is, and that's the main problem that I find with this particular beast. In fact, if I don't know the reaches for lances, but I'm thinking lances and then bow guns and bows are probably the best weapons to fight this monster. That's something to consider if you're going up against this guy. And watch out for that wind tunnel attack, because as far as I'm aware, that's a one-hit kill. So if you get sucked in, you're basically done. That's you're instantly carded, and it's just bad all around. But thankfully, if you do fall down like I just did, you can easily get back up and you can fight your way back to him. Or, well, you're not really fighting because there's nothing else but this guy and the great thunderbugs that he throws out. As for this helicopter attack, this thing is either the easiest to avoid, or it's one of those attacks that you go, why on earth did that hit me? So the way I typically try to avoid it is by crouching and then getting as close to the center of the arena without going over as I possibly can. And ironically, it was against the harder version, the event quest Yama Tsukami, where that always worked. For this particular quest, it was a hit or miss, so it was just not all that good. So in terms of weaknesses, you're going to want to use either a dragon-based weapon or an ice-based weapon. So those are the two elements that he's actually weak to. He primarily attacks with his tendrils, but he does have that fire element through the gas that he expels from underneath himself. But he can also paralyze you because there's great thunderbugs. And you got to be careful with those little bastards because they're not just regular thunderbugs. They're exploding thunderbugs. So they will blow up if they get really close to you. And I'm also thinking that they're on some sort of set timer too. So if they're alive for long enough, then they just explode out of frustration or something like that. It's kind of like the tank from Left 4 Dead. They can't get to the survivor, they just die. And so here we go with the helicopter spin attack. And those tentacles get really dangerously close. And it's really scary. But a weakness sign for this monster is that as you attack, you'll notice that his stomach starts to shrink. It's kind of a subtle clue. And so a lot of times when his stomach shrinks, he will fall down to the floor. And when this monster does that, if you were thinking and you got the anti-dragon bombs that you can find at the base camp, then you can get on top of him, put the anti-dragon bombs on him, and then just wait for them to explode. I thought it was better than that, and I decided not to bring them. And, well, I paid the price for it. So I might as well go through some of the trivia stuff here. And when I was doing some research before this commentary, I think the most curious bit of trivia is that this monster originally appeared in Monster Hunter 2, which was a Japanese-only release. And frankly, I'm tempted to get an emulator and play it for myself, because that, knowing that there was a sequel to the original Monster Hunter that was only released in Japan is both exciting and frustrating, because Capcom did this with Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, and I'm still waiting with bated breath for that particular release to get ported, even though it's kind of pointless now since we have Generations Ultimate. But in Monster Hunter 2, this monster was fought completely differently, and I'm going to hold that thought off for just a second to mention that when you get knocked out, instead of getting thrown all the way back to base camp, you get thrown to the area right before the fight, and so this gives you an opportunity to heal up and then just or get like your energy drinks, your max potions, ancient potions, which I highly recommend for this fight, and that way you can take this monster on again. But going back to the trivia, in Monster Hunter 2, this monster was fought at the Ancient Tower, but there were a series of stairs, so, you know, the spiral staircases that you might see in the original version of the Ancient Tower. But instead of meeting the Yama Tsukami all the way up here, you would fight him on those spiral staircases leading up to the top of the tower, which frankly actually seems kind of cool, because it really feels like you're giving chase. You're not just meeting at a predetermined location. And so another trivia here is that although the Yama Tsukami cannot be captured, the tranquilizer effect from trank bombs actually numbs it from flight and causes it to flinch. If trank bombs are applied during the wind tunnel attack, it will fall to the ground. In addition, it drops a shiny. So I didn't bring trank bombs, but that's a little fun fact for you. And let's see, this bit of trivia is absolutely pointless, but I might as well bring it up. The only difference between the Western and Japanese versions of the Yama Tsukami is just the way its name is spelled. In the Western version, they have a space, and that's probably because, you know, Western audiences are a lot dumber than Japanese audiences, so they might have spent forever and a half trying to figure out how to pronounce the Yama Tsukami's name. Let's see. It is possible to block the Yama Tsukami's wind vortex with the guard increase skill, and having guts in addition will leave the hunter with 1 HP as opposed to dying. So it is possible, but you're going to get hurt from that attack big time. And you have the 50-minute time limit in order to actually take down this the Yama Tsukami. So he doesn't flee. you have to kill him during this quest. So if you can't kill him within the time limit, you're just gonna fail. So that's not good. Make sure you're at your A game for this quest. And so you got to be careful when the Yama Tsukami does this trick, because he can easily activate the wind vortex. You get sucked in and you're just dead. But that's not the worst of it with the vortex, because you get a really good view of the inside of this monster's mouth. When that happens, you will get to see very human-like teeth. So it's really disconcerting. Why does this thing have human-like teeth? Why does it have human-like gums? That's what I want to know. In addition to the horrible wind sounds that it makes when it's doing the vortex, it's just all sorts of terrible. Might as well go over the armor set for this guy real quick. There's actually I believe it's a low rank version where you can get, I think it was like Ancient Moss or something like that. No, it was Dragonwood and Dragon Moss. And you could get those using I believe his name is Regnilla, or it's a little feline over at the farm that you can send him out to do stuff, and he can get those materials for you. But for this particular monster, I'm going to be looking at the Guardian Spirit Shin armor, which is the G rank version of the set. And so you're looking at an initial defense of 500, a final defense of 570, and the resistances, holy crap, you're looking at resistance for fire and water at 10, for thunder it's at 15, and then ice and dragon is at -10. So pretty nice extremes, but definitely very beneficial if you're going up against a fire monster. As for skills, you're looking at ESP, quick eating, paralyzed duration halved, and hunger increase low, and that can easily be gemmed out with the total slots being 10, and with I think it only requires 1, maybe 2 jewels to gem out the hunger increase, and they'll leave you with 8 additional slots to play with. So definitely something you want to consider. And so for the Yama Tsukami, the best advice I can have when fighting him is counterattacks. Because he's always a little bit farther away than he looks, then it's kind of hard to really hit him when he's just idle. So whenever he attacks, that's the time to get off in a counterattack, and it would just help this fight go by quite a bit more smoothly. But anyways, that's going to do it for me and this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in any of my other content, be sure to click on one of those annotations that will be featured at the end of this video. Or if you want to support the channel, subscribing is a big help as well. I've noticed that the channel's starting to pick up some steam, and I would assume that you guys are really showing your support, and words can't express how grateful I am. But until next time, take care, people.